Have you ever noticed this? In your head, you have huge plans, incredible ideas, an almost cinematic future. But in practice, nothing happens. You postpone, get stuck, get distracted, and time passes. And this isn't a lack of ability. It's not pure laziness. There's a real biological reason behind it. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman explains that your brain wasn't designed to execute dreams. It was designed to conserve energy and avoid risk. Human brain is constantly trying to keep you in a state of equilibrium, called homeostasis. This means expending as little energy as possible and avoiding anything that seems uncertain or threatening. Now think about it. What does achieving a big dream require? Effort, uncertainty, possibility of failure. In other words, exactly everything your brain wants to avoid. That's why when you start thinking about taking action, that strange feeling arises. Resistance, tiredness, doubt. It's not a coincidence. It's your brain trying to protect you. But there's more. There is another, even more treacherous factor: dopamine. Dopamine is not just the pleasure hormone, as many people say. According to studies by researcher Kent Berridge, it is much more linked to desire and anticipation than to pleasure itself. In other words, you feel dopamine when you imagine success, not necessarily when you do the work. This explains why dreaming is so addictive. You imagine your ideal life, your success, recognition, and your brain already rewards you for it, without you having to do absolutely anything. It's as if you're getting an emotional preview of the achievement. Result? You feel good without taking action. And this creates a dangerous loop. You dream, feel pleasure, don't act, dream again. And what's worse, the more motivational content, inspirational videos, and success stories you consume, the more this cycle reinforces itself. A study published by the University of California showed that visualizing goals too positively can paradoxically reduce the likelihood of action. This is because the brain interprets it as something partially already achieved. Now put it all together. Your brain wants to conserve energy. He avoids risk, and it even rewards you for just imagining. You know what that leads to? An expert calls this the illusion of progress. Psychologist Gabriele Oettingen, who has studied motivation for decades, discovered that people who fantasize too much about their ideal future tend to act less than those who balance dreams with reality. In other words, dreaming too much can paralyze you. But don't worry, that doesn't mean dreaming is wrong. The problem is not the dream, it's the way you relate to him. Because as long as your brain is being rewarded just for imagining, it won't see a reason to act. And here's an important point. Your brain doesn't differentiate very well between reality and simulation. That's right. When you imagine a scenario in detail, you achieving something, being recognized, living that life, several areas of the brain are activated as if it were really happening. It's almost like an emotional shortcut. But this shortcut comes at a price. It reduces the urgency of the action. That's why you end the day tired, even without having done anything. You wasted mental energy living a life that never happened. Meanwhile, the real world stood still. But there is a way out, and it has nothing to do with willpower. In fact, relying solely on willpower is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. As Roy Baumeister explains, one of the leading researchers on self-control, willpower is a limited resource. It is depleted throughout the day. In other words, if you depend on it to act, you're already at a disadvantage. The solution begins when you stop trying to motivate yourself and start understanding how your brain really works. Because the truth is simple and somewhat uncomfortable. You're not stuck because you don't want it enough. You're stuck because your brain is working against you. And unless you change the game, nothing changes. Now that you understand the problem, here comes the part that really matters: how to unlock it. And here's the first truth that few people talk about. You don't need more motivation, you need strategy. Because motivation is unstable, it comes and goes. But behavior? That you can build. Andrew Huberman himself explains that action generates motivation, not the other way around. In other words, you don't wait to feel ready to act. You act, and then motivation appears later. This completely changes the game. But how do you start if you're already stuck? First, you need to stop thinking too big at the beginning. It seems counterintuitive, I know, but your brain hates large, vague tasks. It interprets that as high cost, high risk, and activates resistance. Now, when you break that down into something small, clear, and actionable, everything changes. Psychologist Gabriele Oettingen calls this mental contrast with implementation. Instead of just imagining success, you do two things. Visualize the objective, mentally confront the real obstacles, and then create a specific plan. If X happens, I'll do Y. For example, if I get home tired, I study for 10 minutes before doing anything else. Researcher James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, talks about something simple but brutally effective. Make the beginning ridiculously easy. I'm not going to study for 2 hours a day, but rather, I'm going to open the material and study for 2 minutes. Does it seem like a small amount? That's exactly the point. Because the biggest obstacle isn't doing it, it's starting. When you start, you break the inertia, and once you're in motion, continuing becomes much easier. Now let's talk about dopamine, because it can be your enemy, but also your greatest ally. The secret isn't to eliminate dopamine, it's to redirect it. Today, your brain is used to receiving quick rewards, social media, videos, constant stimulation. This reduces your sensitivity to effort. But studies show that when you associate small rewards with progress, and not just the end result, you reprogram that system. B.J. Fogg of Stanford University says exactly that. Celebrate small victories immediately after the action, even if it's something simple. Finished a small task? Acknowledge it. Did make some progress? Notice this. This releases dopamine at the right time, during the process. And that changes everything, because now taking action is starting to pay off. Another essential point, the environment. If you rely on discipline to avoid distractions, you're already losing. The environment shapes behavior much more than willpower. Want to study more? Leave your study materials visible. Want to use your cell phone less? Put it away physically. Simple as that. Kurt Lewin himself, a pioneer of modern psychology, already said, behavior is a function of the person plus environment. Change the environment, and you change the behavior. Now, here's a point that might sting a little. You need to stop identifying yourself as someone who doesn't act, because identity drives behavior. If deep down you believe you are a procrastinator, you will act accordingly. But when you start accumulating small actions, even the smallest ones, you begin to change that narrative. It's no longer, I'm someone who does nothing. It's, I'm someone who is just starting out. And that's powerful. Finally, there's a simple but extremely effective technique. Reduce the time between thinking and acting, because the longer you wait, the more resistance your brain creates. Got an idea? Act on it in 5 seconds. No negotiation. This prevents the self-protection system from activating. It's literally tricking your own brain. Ultimately, overcoming inertia isn't about becoming a different person overnight. It's about stopping fighting your brain and starting to play with it. Small actions, rewards in the process, a tight environment, identity being constructed. And little by little, what was once just a dream begins to take shape in the real world. Because dreaming big isn't the problem. The problem is stopping at the dream stage. And now you know exactly how to get out of it.